Zimbabwe muri kuzviona sei. Oh, shall remain. Yours truly, Mr. One Blow. One Blow. Foolish government. Yeah, me raspi. Urumende yema geva. Akatumira mbava. Geva. Urumende yema geva. Tiri kutongwa netoti. Yemeso nuri geva. Geva. Takatumira mbava. Geva. Mbava. Geva. Mbava. Geva. Geva. Matoti. Urumende yembava. Tiri kutongwa negeva. Mbava. Toti. Takatumira. From bad to worse, tishiva kuna baba bona. Unogona wona hapa na chata gona. Zwakango my life iri kuona. Orita nditi munoti kutongwa kwaro. But say kuchishga vekumba kwaro. Youth unemployed but kinao magwaro. Zimbabwe yese haina mufaro. Say muchidaru, kuita makaro. There is too much kakistocracy. Where is our democracy? Chibataru okorwangu mwana weva. Inindi chabarako. Let's rise, let's be wise and expose this Zimbabwe aparara vedue. Saga chibataru okorwangu mwana weva. Geva, takatumira mbava. Geva. Urumende yema geva. Tiri kutongwa netoti. Yameso nuri geva. Geva. Takatumira mbava. Geva. Mbava. Geva. Mbava. Geva. Geva. Matoti. Urumende yema mbava ta. Tiri kutongwa negeva. Mbava. Toti. Takatumira.
Thank you very much, and greetings to you and all your listeners around the world.
Thank you very much, Bishop Maponga. I know that recently you were involved in a car accident and you ended up in hospital. How are you feeling now?
Well, I got treated in Zimbabwe and the treatment was good. I am recovering about 70% on the road.
All right. Thank you very much. Bishop Joshua Maponga, you are speaking to our audience. We have invited different partners of Pachiso Life to be able to distribute the information to those that matter so that we can be able to have decision makers, having an idea of what is going down in our country, Zimbabwe. So Bishop Joshua Maponga, without wasting time, let us get on to the matter that we are here for. Bishop Maponga, you spent years in South Africa. You preached in South Africa. You changed lives and turned many to God. And that was, of course, in South Africa. And now you are in Zimbabwe. Do you have a message to the people of South Africa and to the people of Zimbabwe, the people of Africa and the people of the world with regard to your journey as a religious leader? Please. You can respond to that. Go ahead, Bishop.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I have had a very bumpy life. I joined the ministry at the age of 15 from an Adventist background. And so it saw me fast-tracking myself through universities and traveling around the world at a very early age. And to be more specific, when I was in South Africa, my journey there was very transformative. I got there 91, 92. After my graduation, I was pastoring Masvingo and doing halfway between Johannesburg and Zimbabwe. And so I saw the last pieces of the battle in South Africa, including the memorial service of Chris Hani, which I conducted in Venda University, and got myself involved in the political space with gentlemen such as Alex Nemakonde, and that Malema then was still a young man, and we I grew up there. I did not spend much time there. I did about 2-3 years, then did Swaziland, then moved to Europe. Then when I came back, but when I came back, finally, I could realize a country that was struggling with racial discrimination and the power of transformative dialogue, where people were able to start talking their differences, coming from various diverse places, and people that were injured by apartheid, beginning to talk and work through their own issues. I saw almost what I could call a first world in Africa, very developed, and I started to have a feeling that if some of these beautiful things I see in South Africa could actually begin happening at home also. So it was a learning curve for me. It shaped my thinking in many aspects, and most importantly, it gave me an opportunity to experience Africa in her totality in terms of the networks that I was beginning to develop when I was there. And the plethora of dialogues in multicultural and multifaceted academic space, political, cultural, is far much more receptive as contrasted to Zimbabwe and other parts of Africa. So it was a classroom for me. And those are some of the things that I wished that when we come back home, we should actually be able to start instituting, reviving our indigenous knowledge systems and finding our footing as a genuine African people.
Right. Thank you very much, Bishop Joshua Maponga. There were, I mean, some pictures that we saw and videos, I mean, in your religious journey, where at some point, apparently you were living in the curves, and people were wondering if if you have lost your marbles or something like that. I mean, do you want to just quickly touch on that?
It's amazing that when you go to the caves, people think you have lost your marbles. But when people are putting on jackets and ties and they're walking up to church and drinking blood and eating flesh, no one has ever challenged them for losing their marbles. It just goes to show the level of colonization that we have gone through. That as an African child, when you just want to retrace your steps to your origins, you are supposed to be labeled as crazy person. But when you are naming your children Ronaldo, watching TV, eating recycled garbage foods, you never consider that actually part of colonization has to do with mind capture. But yes, I decided to take my journey away from the Christian and civilization, and I trekked back my feet into the cultural and indigenous forests, not for fun, not for tourism, but I was learning to discover that the caves were used for various purposes in the past, not only for preserving food, not only as places of rites of passage, they also were being used for burial sites of kings. There were mining shafts, there were water wells, and there was also a library of information. The writings of the ancient people are all there. The information that the classroom could have skipped while teaching me, I decided to go and experience it. If that is losing our minds, then it goes to say that a man who spends 25 years in university studying only to finish and say he does not have experience, I think even our educational institutions are also quite losing of mind on steroids, that we spend so much time learning a lot about nothing, only to come back and find that we are non-experienced in what we are doing. So yes, I did that. I did South Africa, I did Drakensberg, I did Mpumalanga, I did Zimbabwe, Eastern Highlands, Domboshava, Matsivadona, many other places, Matopos, and the whole I did, something was calling me there, and I felt I needed to reconnect, take off my shoes, and experience our old people and harvest the technology of the past. And if possible, bring it to the present. And that's where you hear me say, I'm a watcher from the future, living with you in the present, with solutions from the past. I felt that in our high speed of going towards globalization, we're losing some of the technologies that our forefathers had left for us. And I felt very much compelled, to an extent that even my religion and my soft life, some of you may know where I live in South Africa and where I live here, my soft life became non-important. Not that I'm poor, by no means, no. But I just felt all that was dung, and I needed something much more meaningful. My soul was yearning for more value than just the cosmetics that were hanging around me and artificial lives of people who claim to be educated, but they know very little about themselves. I thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Bishop Maponga. Of course, we have got a lot, many hard-hitting things that we are going to be touching base on shortly. But okay, on that point, let me just also speak about the number of Zimbabweans who have left their country to go to South Africa to look for opportunities, since the challenges that we faced in from the 2008 hyperinflation in Zimbabwe. We saw quite a number of our own people from Zimbabwe going to South Africa, having had experience in South Africa yourself and having followed some of the xenophobic statements coming out of South Africa and other people, including the Minister of Sports in South Africa, who actually got hired on the basis of, highlighting this issue of Zimbabweans migrating to South Africa and xenophobic statements with some other groupings coming up in South Africa. And apparently there's an election taking place in South Africa this year, and there's some expectation that some of these groupings are going to garner votes and go to parliament. Do you have a message to South Africans with regard to the state of migrants, or let me say immigration issues in South Africa, and also in terms of any messages to Zimbabweans who are in South Africa in terms of opportunities they may probably get in Zimbabwe, their own country?
It must be mentioned right on top that the history of Zimbabwe and South Africa is a complex one. We may need to look at it through various windows. We may want to look at the economics of South Africa and Zimbabwe in the backdrop of the colonizers, Cecil John Rhodes and Jameson and many other colonial masters who would take workers from Zambia and Malawi to build up Harare and take the resources of Harare to build up Johannesburg. There's no country in the south here that can claim, even Harare, we cannot claim that we built this city. It was built by Zambians, it was built by Malawians who were working in our mines, but the migration went further south because that's where the development was happening, in the mines that are down there. We share a lot in common at an economic level. Politics tends to divide us. Spirituality unites us. And while I'm there, culture can actually become a conduit of connecting with each other. I'm so excited. As of last week, I saw Mtwaga's king visiting up with the king of KwaZulu Natal. And I was quite excited to see that happening because I had spoken to the father a few years ago, King Zwelithini, and he had shared some sentiments of his desire to meet some of his children who had crossed over into this space, whether that is true or not, that they are his children because of the Mzilika's Shaka debate. We'll leave that for the scholars. Argue how many angels can dance at the sharpest point of a needle. But they shared quite a common history, and that reunion for me begins to speak to the unification that culture can bring amongst us if we can just look beyond our shoulders. The Ndebeles, the language, the Sutus, the Tswanas, the Tsongas, the Vendas, the Karangas, even to be called a Kwere, it's actually shows that some of our brothers across the Limpopo are not yet educated enough because there's nothing called Kwere. There's actually a tribe here in Zimbabwe called Kore. But then everything that is outside of the country is called Kore. And if we are Kweres in South Africa, then what should we say about our brothers and sisters, our mothers, our uncles who are in Kwablawayo? Can we also call them Kweres? Then that becomes a derogative statement because then you're dealing with settlements of Africans beyond the borders of political differences. So, and I think that for South Africa and Zimbabwe, imagine the amount of exports and imports that Zimbabwe and South Africa business-wise, we can begin to enjoy should the borders be opened. Botswana, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Namibia and Zambia, Mozambique, Malawi, all of us creating a very active economy. My advice to South Africans is that you have the technology. In some cases, you have the money. You have also the education because of the big universities, Wits University, Johannesburg University, Cape Town University, where South Africa was in the 1800s. Zimbabwe is right there right now. Most of our mines are still on open cast, development galore. I managed to work in the De Beers when I was in South Africa. I went down the mining shaft, some of them 5 kilometers, some of them 15 kilometers down there looking for gold. You'll be shocked to know that in Zimbabwe, who are still at the open cast level. The veins of gold run deep in this country. If anyone knows what that means in terms of business, it means that we are actually in Texas during the oil rush. We're in Johannesburg during the gold rush. And I think the next biggest thing in the Southern Hemisphere will be Zimbabwe. It will be very, very important for Zimbabweans and South Africans to put our differences aside and focus at how we can build a SADC economy, if for what it is worth, allow the educated community to begin to bridge between ourselves. Marriages and education, businesses and technologies can thrive. I thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Bishop Maponga. We are going to the next level of our discussion with Bishop Joshua Maponga. Thank you very much again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me, Hulu, at Pachiso Life. I am with the Hot Seat Empire, Rudozobo, my co-host. Bus Driver has just joined us also today on the co-host position. And please follow me so that we continue to give you information that is very valuable, to our society. Bishop Maponga is in the house, and we are having a conversation with him for things that are extremely important. Bishop Joshua Maponga, let me ask you 3 questions which only require a yes or a no answer. Have you ever met Rutendo Matinyarare, the leader of the Zimbabwe anti-sanctions movement?
Yes.
Have you ever met the president of Zimbabwe, President E.D. Mnangagwa?
Yes.
Have you ever met the billionaire, Kuda Tagwirei, Elder Kuda Tagwirei?
Yes.
All right. Bishop Maponga, there are other people who have said to me today that even I, that is hosting you today, have been paid. Is it true? Have I been paid to host you today? And have I been paid to bring you up here to speak to our nation? Have I been paid to make this happen? Bishop Maponga, can you please speak to our audience? Have I been paid for this job?
No.
Thank you. Let us continue with our conversation. Bishop Joshua Maponga, you have talked about your journey from South Africa to Zimbabwe, Swaziland, and many other countries where you preached to the nations and spoke your word that people listened to you. I want to find out from you, in terms of the return also of Rutendo. I do know that you mentioned the fact that you have got no qualms whatsoever with regards to Rutendo responding to you, but you feel that today you need to speak uninterrupted to the Zimbabweans because these issues, you have considered them to be very, very important. However, you have said that at other times, we can arrange that you can be able to then now give him, the right to respond to some of the things that you are going to say here. I want to find out, in your journey from South Africa to Zimbabwe, and we also know that there was also a journey by Rutendo from South Africa to Zimbabwe. Did you in any way assist Rutendo in coming to Zimbabwe? And if so, was it only you that assisted him, or there are other individuals that assisted him to move from South Africa to Zimbabwe? How would you respond to that, Bishop Maponga?
Rutendo is a Zimbabwean, fully Zimbabwean. And I don't think anyone from Zimbabwe needs assistance from anyone to come back home and do what his passion demanded him to do. When we found a common line of convergence, he was already in an advanced stage of doing other things. And I also thought that hooking up with him to combine our efforts towards the Pan-African ideologies will be quite useful. So I cannot claim that I brought him here. He's a Zimbabwean. He already belongs here. But the meeting of minds and the meeting of agendas and itineraries got us meeting here. Though the conversation of us at one time or the other should go and return home and do something for our country, we had spoken about that in our initial meeting in South Africa. But when a man does not want to go, there's nothing he can do. But a man wants to go, you can always move with where the wind is going. And I could say from that angle, I did not need to assist him except to add wind on the decisions that he had already made himself.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bishop Maponga. Bishop Joshua Maponga, in terms of politics in Zimbabwe, are you at any level involved in the politics of our country, Zimbabwe? What is it that you can share with our audience in terms of your political orientation? Are you involved with any political movement, any political allegiances in our country, Zimbabwe?
I will answer this once and for all, and I hope it won't come up again in any other interview. I have told you people for the longest of time, I don't believe in democracy in all means possible. And the more I say it, the louder people want me to make a decision about politics. However, I am not naive to the fact that politically we live in an environment that is religious people, that is cultural people, that is academicians and the industry. My passion is not politics. My passion is the restoration of indigenous knowledge systems that they can be cooperated into the political system. If my interaction with politics makes me a politician, in me starting to ask, can we have organic birth centers? Can we fully incorporate indigenous medicines? Can we begin to appreciate our architectures? Can we also upgrade our fashions? I've traveled the width and breadth of this world, and one of the biggest things I do when I travel is to buy crafts, it is to buy fashion. It's amazing that in Zimbabwe, we have baobab tree bark, which can make mats, which can make clothes. The other day, I put on a mat and people thought I'd lost my marbles. But I was not putting on a mat because I put on a mat and I'm crazy. I'm just saying, here's the technology. Why can't we take this baobab sap and baobab fiber and make it into clothes? And even my experiences in the forest showed me that there is much more. The Uganda people have their bark cloth, they have the mud cloth out there, kente cloth in Ghana, pineapple cloth in Philippines, marijuana cloth in Jamaica. Is our technology so backward that our educated community cannot begin to harvest some of these technologies and bring them to the fore? The political engagement must not be construed or misconstrued in the light of ruling party, opposition party. I speak to people who are in positions of power to advance my indigenous agenda, which I'm passionate about. And I would rather talk about the things I believe than talk about ideologies of people who believe what they believe for the reasons that they do. I thank you.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much, Bishop Joshua Maponga. The reason why I'm asking you with regards to political orientations and things like that is because we are having an extraordinary discussion currently in Zimbabwe with regards to the Amendment Bill number 3, which some people also regard as a 2030 agenda. And in that vein, everybody, seems to now be forced to pick a side in terms of whether somebody is in the opposition side or somebody is in the side of of supporting the Amendment Bill number 3. One of the things that captivated our minds recently, Bishop Maponga, were certain allegations from certain circles about the opposition political leader, Advocate Nelson Chamisa. There were other individuals who were accusing him of having received over 20 million US dollars from ZANU-PF in order to keep him quiet, in order to make sure that he does not disturb the Amendment Bill number 3. I want to find out from you, when you hear these stories as a Zimbabwean, I do know that you said you don't believe in democracy, but we are in a democracy. We ushered it in 1980. And our constitution of 2013 affirms that, the fact that we are in a constitutional democracy. Now, I want to find out, does it come to your mind in terms of, it is actually true that Nelson Chamisa, can be bought for 20 million US dollars to silence him? Because we hear all around that Bishop Maponga, but I don't want you to answer this one, but I'm just mentioning it, that Bishop Maponga got 10%, Temba Mliswa got 10% as well from Billy Rottenbeck. We hear that this other minister, got 10%. I mean, it is all 10%. I don't know why not 15% and 20%. But I want to find out how easy is it? How easy is it, I mean, Bishop Maponga, to believe that somebody can be bought for 20 million in Zimbabwe to silence them from competing in a democratic dispensation, which is wrought in our 2013 constitution or in our constitution? How easy can that be? I mean, from your understanding of our society.
My focus is sharing knowledge. My focus is sharing wisdom. My focus is sharing indigenous ethics, accountability, and responsibilities, the ancient ways of governance, where some of these democratic loopholes can actually be stopped. As such, a platform such as yours, which is known for facts, which is known for research, with able minds that we have, it's amazing how much we gobble and we eat the 10% across the board. You rightfully put it, everybody's 10%. Even you right now, you also receive 10%. The question is 10% of what? Who can just say 10% and thumbsuck a figure? And I think sometimes, as particularly Zimbabweans, we tend to have some political lethargy of some sort, where we are now tired of one system, and therefore every other rumor that makes us feel better becomes edible. It only feels bad and terrible when that rumor leaches up on you and someone labels you as such. I have not received 10% of nothing from nobody. I thank you.
Yeah, because Bishop Maponga, you see, we are told by others that Nelson Chamisa is a bad apple. We are told that Bishop Maponga is a bad apple. We are told that President E.D. Mnangagwa is a bad apple. We are told that Kuda Tagwirei is a bad apple. We are told that Temba Mliswa is a bad apple. We are told that Bishop Nehemiah Mtendi is bad. Now, I just want to find out, when you hear all these, who then in our country is then circumcised, so to speak? If every other individual is uncircumcised, so who then is circumcised? What is the standard that can make us now say we need a leader like this? Do you have such a standard?
I think maybe the person who is writing and saying that, I mean, I'm coming from the religious perspective, where at one time I had a tiffy with one of our famous preachers in the country here, who said this preacher is bad, the other one is bad, I can't mention names, this one is bad, and he went on a list of all of them. And me being a religious person, of course, I decided to take him on and say, hey, Buddy, something is not right here. Your narrative is skewed. You seem to be suffering from a disease which we call the Elijah syndrome. I'm the only one left. You can't say that. You're the only one that is left. Even the Bible says, but behind you there are 7,000 that have not even knelt to Baal. So this whole mindset of everyone is bad is corrosive in its very nature. As an old man, I would say, a group of guys were working in the mines. I got this story in the mines in Hotazel, hot as hell, somewhere in South Africa there. They were going to buy some apples, so they came home, beat the first apple at night. Then they found that it had worms. Oh, they spit it out and then threw it away, then picked another apple again, beat it up again. The other one picked the other one, it was rotten. The other one picked up the other one. 4 apples later, the bag was almost getting finished. One of them was very intelligent amongst them, says, gentlemen, we are going to starve. Let's just switch off the lights and let's eat the apples. So the problem is not the apples.
Wow. That is a nice one, Bishop Joshua Maponga.
So we cannot argue. We cannot argue the quality of the apples. We can only see the quality of the apples with the quality of the light that we have. So the question is, show us the good apples that you have. If you have them hidden somewhere, please bring them on, and let's start from there. But I know every country deserves its leader. What we produce is what we consume. We send these children right now in primary school, in high school, in college, university. We train them, we educate them, we tell them what they must become when they grow up. Why are you disappointed when these children become what you told them to be? Until we begin to breed a new breed of young people, breed a new growth of mind, respect of culture and ethics and morality, Ubuntu, living together. I am because we are. I am my brother's keeper. It takes a village to bring up a child. It takes a nation. I'm a family. From families, community, other tribes, other clans, and etc. That's what a country is made out of. And while we are trying to come together, others are busy fragmenting and trying to cut this piece of cake into unrecognizable pieces. So the whole concept of everyone is rotten, it becomes a tired song. It's a very, very tired old song. Do it or not, better you have someone who dies fighting than the one who dies with scars on their backs.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Bishop Joshua Maponga. Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with our conversation. Thank you for joining me, Hulu at Pachiso Live. I'm with Rudolph as usual, the hot seat empire bus driver. He's going to be very disciplined. On the co-host position. Bus driver, I just want to find out from you. I hope you did not, block anybody. I hope so, bus driver, because I need to make sure that everybody is able to attend. Bus driver, because we need discipline. Many people sending me messages and not very happy about bus driver being a co-host today. So I need if anybody is blocked, please let me know. Bus driver, we don't need to be blocking people. We need everybody to be on board, and I expect you to be extremely very disciplined and follow instructions. Thank you very much. So Bishop Joshua Maponga, you met with the president of Zimbabwe, President E.D. Mnangagwa, and would you want to put the Zimbabweans into your confidence in terms of what your discussions were on, and your opinion of the president currently, and the advice that you can probably bring to his ears today, to the audience, through this audience? What is it that you discussed with the president, and what advice do you think you can provide to the president in the context today of the discussions we are having of the amendment bill and 2030 debate?
Well, very, very interesting. I found the president to be very friendly, very kind and cordial. We ate groundnuts together. We ate mutakura and some mazoe. We sat there and spoke for hours. I was excited to come back home. I'd never received such a welcome in my life. And of course, bearing in mind, I'd already hit my own problems with the opposition parties a bit earlier on, who had given me a cold shoulder, so to speak, when I was trying to say, can we have a political conversation? And it went south. But my mind was made up to come here, and I decided, let me talk to the people in power. Again, a ship goes on board right into the sea. And then people notice that the ship is going the wrong direction. Then I came up with a few solutions. The solution number one, let us all jump out of the ship after 25 years of traveling or 30 years of traveling, and let us swim back to the shore and start afresh. I'm an old man now. I said, that's too risky. I don't have enough energy to swim for 25 years going back to start something new. Though that idea had crossed my mind at one time on Zimbabwe indigenous movement, which I had registered here as a political party, but I put it on shelf. Then option number two, let us all start shouting in the ship here, so that the one who's driving it can see that we are not happy with what he's doing. And he can maybe lock the door, thinking that we are protesting. But then I thought of method number three, which says, let us kill the captain, and then we can drive. That one is a good option, but let's just make sure that when we kill the captain, someone knows how to read the compass. We might end up heading in far much more problems than we started. But the last option for me, number four, was that can we all gather together, and we can go and approach the captain and then show him what we have found out, and see if perchance he can be able to buy our story, so that we can begin to champion this ship into the right direction. I opted for option number four. My method seems to have worked for me, both at a personal level, because then I did not need always to be checking my back. And I'm saying so very, very knowledgeably aware of the critical environment we're coming in from the previous regime. And having done that, then I gathered my strength to begin to talk to the systems of power. My advice and my one word to the president of the country of Zimbabwe, 16 million people have said yes. And this is where it confuses me with democracy. When people decide, people are not happy. When people are not consulted, people are not happy. When people are consulted, people don't turn up. When people turn up and their voices are not heard, then people are disgruntled. If democracy means that the majority rules, even the president has no right. If people say we want you to rule, they did that in China. They've been there for the past 30, 20 years. They've done that in Singapore. They've done that in Dubai, United Emirates, in Bahrain, in Russia. You can go around the world, do your research. More than 13, 15 countries have done the same extent. There's nothing peculiar about Zimbabwe revisiting that. My 2 cents worth, if the people have chosen, and who am I to oppose? If the people have chosen, who is the president to oppose? But here's the catchy part. As I don't believe in democracy, I actually am excited that bill number 3 went through. Because for me, it begins to tell me that don't only talk about bill number 3. I want to know what is on bill number 1. I want to know bill number 2. I want number 5, number 6, number 7, so that we can actually begin to identify where our medicine is lacking, where our education is lacking, where is our governance system is in terms of our corruption and other issues. Our constitution will protect even the criminals. So the transformation, the changing of the constitution is very healthy. But my advice, Honorable President, don't just show us number 3. Show us from number 1, I don't know up to number what, so that we can deliberately, while we are at it, begin to toothpick the issues of land, basing them on the constitution. Because then it moves over to the other question the young man was asking me about a white guy who is ready to rule and run Zimbabwe. Because and I put vehemently my ideas right there. And little did he know, I'm speaking from the knowledge that when you have a constitution that gives those that have oppressed you to become part of you, then they'll still rule after you, and they still rule you again. And I'm saying that constitution, there's something fundamentally wrong with that. Because when you visit other progressive countries, that's a non-starter. But in Zimbabwe here, sunshine, peanut butter, and oros, people do as they please. I personally, my own personal thing, less the human rights slogans that people want to lash out around. You cannot allow someone who does not know the history and the culture of this land to rule this land. And my advice therefore is, Honorable President, don't stop with number 3. While the iron is still hot, let's hit number 1, let's hit number 2, let's hit number 3, until we can turn the curriculum of our universities upside down, until we can address the real people who are dispossessed in terms of land, until we can begin to address the issues of marriage and divorce according to our own African culture. Indigenous medicine, the list goes on. We can remove our children from Western uniforms, which they all put on those funny little khaki shorts, which make them look like British little princesses and queens, and begin to look at what Burkina Faso has done. Look at what Ghana has done. These things can be changed. And the Constitution, as far as I'm concerned, my own view, we have a right to change it, to suit our own environment. The bill number 3, have your entertainment on it. Those who are angry with it, you have already lost the vote. 16 people are inside. But please, go read before number 3. Read after number 3. And I think that's objective. I thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, to my audience, I want you to know that we will shortly be allowing the public to engage with Bishop Joshua Maponga on his submission. But before we do that, the last thing that Bishop Maponga is going to be addressing will obviously be the allegations, that have been leveled against him by the leader of the Zimbabwe anti-sanctions movement, Rutendo Matinyarare. Bishop Maponga will be responding to some of the things that the leader of the Zimbabwe anti-sanctions movement, Rutendo Matinyarare, said about him. That will be the last bit before I allow the general public to come up. So you can stay on the request, guys, and we will be bringing you up shortly so that you can be able to engage with Bishop Joshua Maponga. Right. We are in conversation with Bishop Joshua Maponga. This is about our people. It is about our country. And this is yet another day, another hour we meet to deliberate on important events taking place in Zimbabwe. It is now 5 minutes past 8 p.m. in Harare. Also there in the great city of Bulawayo at 5 minutes past 8. Thank you for joining me, Hulu, at Pachiso Live. Thank you for following me as we continue to organize and deliver to you important information for our country. I'm not alone. Always, as you know, Rudozobo, the hot seat empire, is here with me. Today, also, we have got bus driver homeboy. He is also there, and we'll keep him there as long as he continues to become a good boy and behave himself. All right. Okay. So, Bishop Joshua Maponga, let us now go to the billionaire Kuda Tagwirei. There are reports that Zimbabwe today is no longer having challenges when it comes to the issues of petrol and diesel and paraffin. Our fuel situation, it seems like it has become a bit better. There are instances, even during the time of President Robert Mugabe, that the name Kuda Tagwirei was not so famous among the people. And currently, it appears as Mr. Tagwirei has been very vocal when it comes to the political events taking place in our country. He's not alone. We also have, many others, including the role of Wikno Shivayo. The billionaire. He calls himself a billionaire, by the way, or I don't know whether we'll call him a multimillionaire. Been going around also giving cars and giving donations to different people. We have got Paul Tungwarara, from Dubai. We have seen Mr. Paul Tungwarara's daughter, flying to South Africa to buy burgers and showing that on social media, and also showing a lot of, wealth. Many others, many other people in the mix. In terms of the trajectory and what we see and what we hear and what we are experiencing currently in Zimbabwe, and in relation or in the context and content of these individuals that I have mentioned, do you have any comment when it comes to these individuals and the wealth that they have? They've acquired. What message can you share with us on? With regards to that?
My experience within the Adventist Church taught me a lot of things. My father was publishing director in the church. We stayed in Wanki and Bulawayo and many other places. But I remember very well during some certain years where our white counterparts from America would actually be flying back for fellow into United Kingdom and into the United States of America. They would actually be able to fly their dogs and fly their cats on a holiday and fly with them back. And the money for the ticket for the dog and the cat was equivalent to my father's salary for 6 months. But for the white men, it was okay. Maybe for the first time as Zimbabweans, we are aware of what money can do. All along, we used to ride bicycles and being given watches for 25 years of good service. Money is, and the money is the root of all evil. But let me add to that, and the absence of it also is the root of evil. When Caltex, BP, and other fuel companies left the country, life does not allow for a vacuum. Those who saw opportunities where others saw a crisis, they're talking a different story right now. Because the intention was that when these companies that were supplying us with fuel would leave, their goal as multinational companies and Anglo-American companies was to bring Zimbabwe to its knees and cause the people to have an uprising and then overthrow their government, and they come back with the solution again. We have seen this in the book, The Economic Hitman, and many other articles that have been published out there, that the regime change narrative is not new with us. We have the Lumumbas, we have the Sankaras, we have the Macheros, we have a long list of history from Malcolm X to Martin Luther in diaspora. There's nothing new. My feeling is we need to start thinking, how can we turn our economy and begin to participate, particularly the young people, instead of always looking at the negative side. There are opportunities in mining, opportunities in agriculture, opportunities in manufacturing. I was in China for the industrial Indaba. We now are one of the biggest producers of steel in the Southern Hemisphere. The question is, why is teaching children how many legs does a grasshopper have? When actually now we must be actually pumping our universities, if possible, put a university next to Manize, so that while the iron ore is being manufactured there, cars, chases, plows, tractors, and other implements for farming, transportation, and technologies can be benefited from. I don't want to specialize in politics, but I want to look more closely into development. That those who have made money, they need to have triple P's projects where they can begin to invest their money. We don't want just to hear them flying all around the world, but also want to see that money being realized here. And some of you have not hidden my cards. I know Strive Masiwa could be one of the richest men in the country, but no one calls him Echigananda, though the contract that he got was from the government. We know the Redlands who are in this country who can put all your billionaires in one basket, but no one has ever called Redland Chigananda. We know the other bigger businessmen who are in this country, multiple of them. As long as they are white, they're good. But when they become black, there is something wrong when a black man has money. In conclusion, the Chinese do business with Chinese. The British do business with British. The Americans do business with Americans. Those who can supply arms, weapons, medicines, and etc., they are directly linked to the government themselves. The authentic, organic people in the country do business with their own countries. I don't know what's wrong with Zimbabwe. We don't trust each other when it comes to money. And with that kind of an attitude, even you, Hulu, the day you have money, you must know that you're an enemy of the people. I think we are blaming it on religion. That says money is mammon. And for that reason, people don't have a good relationship with money. But we have an opportunity of development, joining our hands together. And if you look at the election bill for the Southern Hemisphere and Central Africa coming down this way, I did the research the other day, $120 billion spent on campaigns and elections. And you know how much it costed Ethiopia to build that dam? 800 million, which can supply electricity all of Ethiopia, Egypt, Tunisia, and etc. And while we are spending money trying to nest this donkey called democracy, development is going on elsewhere. And as long as we are always in PC campaign disorder, we are going to achieve very little. I thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Bishop Joshua Maponga. From now on, we are going to be asking you very pointed questions because I've also now decided that it is time to bring up fellow Zimbabweans and fellow people in the audience to be able to engage with you. Bishop Joshua Maponga, the last bit now is, of course, to address directly the issues raised by Rutendo Matinyarare, the leader of the Zimbabwe anti-sanctions movement. You have accepted that at an appropriate time he can have a right of response, and we have followed up on that. So today it is just going to be other Zimbabweans engaging with you. Right. In terms of some of the things that he raised, I do know there are so many people who send me messages and saying they are very much concerned about the statements that are being made by Rutendo himself, especially considering the fact that Rutendo apparently, I mean, from some of the messages that some people were sending to me, he was very critical of the president, very critical of Kuda Tagwirei, very critical of you, and very critical of many other individuals. And there are people who said, why is it that it appears as if Rutendo is simply criticizing everybody? Another message that came through to me was the issue of, Chamisa himself. Apparently, somebody said there is information that, there was a meeting and all that, including a meeting to assassinate Rutendo himself, like a real assassination of Rutendo, and which you are aware of yourself. Can you directly now, I know you have read some of the things that Rutendo wrote, and you have actually responded before today to some of the things. Are you able to address Rutendo directly? And at an appropriate time, we will give him an opportunity to respond. Please, Bishop, Changamire Maponga. From now on, I'm going to learn not to call you Bishop anymore. Right, Changamire Maponga, can you please help us by directly responding to the issues raised by the leader of the Zimbabwe anti-sanctions movement, Rutendo Benson Matinyarare? Please go ahead. Changamire Maponga, are you there, Marara? Rudo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Hulu, but we cannot hear him.
Okay, I think we are just having a bit of a connection challenge there, which we need to just sort out. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for joining me. Hudu at Pachiso Live. I'm with Rudolph over the Hot Seat Empire. Bus driver is also on our side today, and we are in conversation with Changamire Maponga Marara. I'm used to calling him Bishop Joshua Maponga. He's coming back. I think it is because of the battery on. You need to charge batteries now. We need to really charge these batteries, guys. You need to be checking up your batteries. Even those that are in the audience, you got to be checking your batteries, guys. It will run down when you continue speaking and you don't charge it. So we want, Bishop Maponga to respond directly to the issues that have been raised, all the issues that have been raised by the leader of the Zimbabwe anti-sanctions movement, Rutendo, Benson Matinyarare. For those who are in the audience, I appreciate your presence, and let us have this great conversation. All right, as we are waiting for Bishop Maponga to reconnect to the space, let me just greet Ruvimbo and Justice Mahuni. Ruvimbo, welcome to the space together with Justice Mahuni. Guys, what can be your response at this particular moment from the submission that you have heard from Bishop Joshua Maponga? We start with you, Ruvimbo.
Hi, Holu. Thank you for the space and for everyone listening. I personally only have one thing to comment at this time, that it is very interesting to be supporting this current government and then having network issues. I just think that you can't support a government that can't even give you working internet and electricity, and yet you're saying you want resolution number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just find that really challenging. But it will be an interesting conversation. I think we do and ask for honesty and transparency, and I think it will be interesting to hear his response to what Rutendo has claimed. I will say Rutendo is many things, but I don't know if he is lying on this one. Say what you will about him, but I think to make such an accusation is a really big deal, and I think Rutendo understands the consequences. So I don't think he would make those claims lightly. So it just will be very interesting. I am sitting eager, and I've got my popcorn ready. So thank you for the conversation, Hulu.
All right, thank you very much, Ruimbo. We do have, across the board, a strong presence here of ZANU PF members as well as opposition members. Jones Musara is going to be speaking also today. But Jones Musara, please make sure that your connection is all right as we're just waiting for. Bishop Maponga. He's actually here in the space. Bishop Maponga, if you can hear me on the listeners there, I can see you. It could be that maybe your battery went flat a little bit. Please just check your battery, and you might need to just restart your phone again. We load a lot of information on our phones, and sometimes it interrupts us when we are on these spaces. So Bishop Maponga, if you can hear me, you might need to just restart your phone again and check the back. There we go. I think Bishop Maponga is coming. Is gonna be coming up now. Let me see. I think he's gonna be coming up now. Let me see. Is up now. All right. Oh, you know what? Let me see here. All right, I need to drop one person, guys, so that Bishop Maponga will be able to come. My homeboy, Macbeth Masuku. Sorry, my homeboy. Let me just drop you to the listener. Sorry, that's why Bishop Maponga is not up. Bishop Maponga, sorry, I see you. It is because there was no space up there. You can come up now. Bishop Maponga, you can come up now. Macbeth Masuku, if you can hear me, homeboy, I just decided that you can just go to the listeners for a while, and then so that we can be able to create space for Bishop Joshua Maponga, Changamire Maponga. I need to get used to this Changamire. I need to get used to that. Let me
Hello.
stick to Bishop today, please. Vahombe is also here with us. We are going to hear also from Vahombe and John Musara from ZANU-PF. We are going to be hearing from them shortly. Right. So, Ruimbo, thank you for what you have said to us. Justice Mahoney, we okay, Bishop Maponga, are you there? We are going to be hearing from them shortly. Right. All right, Bishop Maponga. What you have said to us, Justice Mahoney. Okay. Bishop Maponga is there. Let me try to mute
I'm
him.
here. I'm right here.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. All right.
I'm right here.
Mute your mic a bit.
I'm here.
Mic a bit. Yes. Mute your mic a little bit. Okay.
I can hear you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Bishop. Ruvimbo spoke earlier. Did you hear Ruvimbo?
I only heard the last part that she said, as far as she knows Rutendo, he would not be lying on this one.
Oh yeah, she said that, and she also spoke about, of course, the internet. But your internet is perfect at the moment, so well, Rainbow,
This line is scrambling.
All right. Let's go to Justice Mahoney. So this is what I'm gonna do. Bishop Maponga. I'm going to have two people speaking to you, and you respond. I think so that we can be able to clear the catch. We have got several people that are requesting to engage with you. I want to welcome Vahombe. Vahombe, I want you to be there. You are very important in this discussion because you know quite a bit about what we are talking about now. Jones Musara from ZANU-PF, welcome as well. You are already up there. Marcel Wilkes and others, including Padare, will be having that conversation. So, okay. So, Bishop Maponga, you will be able to respond to what Rumbe said in terms of Rutendo would not lie. And then let me just go to Justice and you respond to the two of them. Justice Mahoney, go ahead.
Thank you, Comrade Bulu. I see his mic is
his mic is on. Bishop Maponga, you need to mute yourself so that we don't hear an echo coming from your side. Bishop Maponga. He's a little bit behind us, and I might need to just mute him. Let me see.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. You are a little bit behind us. You can mute your mic so that you can be able to hear us. You can just mute the mic a bit. Bishop Maponga, can you hear me? You are a little bit behind us. You might need to drop and come back on again, Bishop Maponga. All right. Rudo Zobo, can you hear me? Rudo? Okay. Justice Mahoney, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear
right.
you 100%.
All right. So we just Bishop Maponga is slightly behind, so we want to make sure that we are together with him.
I can hear you, Sullivan. I can hear you.
All right. Bishop Maponga, are you back up there? Bishop Maponga. Yeah. All right.
His internet is slow. It's 2 seconds behind. I think it's delayed.
Yes, it is delayed. He would just have to come back on, and we are going to have the conversation starting. Bishop Maponga, you are on the listeners now. You could be hearing me better because you have dropped from the speakers. Please get off the space and come back on again. Get out of the space and come back on again. Bishop Maponga, if you can hear me, you were slightly behind us because we were hearing from your mic there that you were slightly behind us. Bishop Joshua Maponga, please drop out of the space. Just exit and then come back on. All right. Just exit completely, Bishop Maponga, so that I don't see you on the space and you can be able to come back on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're just waiting for that connection to be corrected there with Bishop Joshua Maponga. We are in conversation. While we are waiting for that, And let me just greet Jones Musara. Jones Musara, welcome to the space. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much.
All right. How far? I mean, in terms of this conversation, have you gotten so at the moment? I mean, do you what might you say before? I mean, Bishop Maponga comes back. He's sorting out, so don't say anything that he will miss. You are speaking to our audience. Welcome to the space, John Musara, ZANU PF.
Thank you very much for hosting this very important discussion. I think we need to have more of these conversations. Iron sharpens iron, so we'll be sharpening each other as citizens of Zimbabwe. Yeah, I've been following the back and forth between Mr. Maponga, Mr. Matinyarare, and so many people. But I don't want to be dragged in what I think side shows, issues to do with grievances on payments, services provided. Yes, we value human labor, but I think right now the nation is seized with a very important issue of national interest, which is the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. So, yes, there might be some other important issues, but I think the most important national issue at the moment is Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3, and
All right.
of course, the economy. So maybe
Okay,
we can
John.
come back.
Sorry.
Mhm.
I just want to check with the Bishop Maponga, and let me also welcome the lawyer Simba Stando, who has also joined us.
I'm right
Simba
here.
Stando, welcome to the space.
I'm right here.
Is all right. Bishop Maponga is back now. So, Johns, you can just wait a little bit. I'm just gonna give you your 10. We want to. I want Justice Mahoney now to be able to speak. So we had Ruvimbo saying that Rutendo cannot lie, Bishop Maponga. And then Justice Mahoney, what do you say before Bishop Maponga can respond to the two of you? I think we are ready to go now. Justice?
Thank you, Comrade Wool, and greetings to Bishop Maponga and everyone on the space. Yeah, Wulu, my question to Bishop Maponga is, I've heard him complaining of some MPs, especially in his constituents, who are not delivering in terms of maybe the mandate that they were given by the people. How does he reconcile extension of the term of the same MPs who aren't performing to suit the current constitutional amendment as being envisaged by this bill? Isn't it ironic that the same MPs who are underperforming are the ones that will be tasked to elect the president? Isn't there some sort of issues there? Because we can really see that from his own analysis, the MPs are not performing. So why should they go further, especially as supported by the bill? Then number two, I want to understand and get it clearly from him if he's being paid by Kuda Tagwirei, and if he's being paid, what is it for? Because we hear people saying Dr. Tagwirei, Elder Tagwirei, this and that. We haven't heard people doing PR for his companies, where he's running a business. And in Zambia, he's a junior person in terms of the leadership and stuff. So why is there so much PR for a mere Central Committee member when you have got a president? In fact, you can see on Twitter handles that even those supporters of our party, you hear them talking more of a deployee of the party than the leader itself. Why is there so much investment in PR? We hear that it started way in 2022 from Rutendo. Why is he paying for so much PR? Not related to his business, related to politics. Is he having ambitions of being a president? The last one that I would ask Bishop Maponga. We saw him at Arundel there, getting treatment. Is it confirmation of the compromise that he has now, to now speak of
wanting dictatorship and all that stuff? Isn't it just a sideshow to the payments or the trinkets that they are receiving to really put forward a good PR for this guy? Then lastly, I will say, Comrade Ulu, the mandate of the people that were given to the president is to 2028. The people haven't spoken otherwise. We cannot take the narrow mandate of a conference to mistake it to the voice of the people, which the president says is the voice of God. Why is that there so much dishonesty on the part of our leaders who claim the president said himself that is not going to 2028? And there's no clause also in our party that forces someone who doesn't want to go further to keep going, So I want to understand, is this a new slogan or a new kind of politics that you are seeing? And to my brother, Jones Musara, I feel
Justice,
for him.
that is too much. That is too much.
That's the last one. I think I may not have the opportunity, I feel for him that maybe has fallen down the pecking order.
No,
This
no,
used
no,
to be the leader of Warakani.
no, Justice, stop there, Justice.
Okay.
Well, we will have
All
another
right,
opportunity to
we'll
address
engage,
that. We will
we'll
have
engage
another
further
opportunity
then.
to address that. Right. Thank you very much, Justice Mahoney. You can drop to the listeners for now, so I can just bring others. We've got a host of other people.
What if I then follow up, Comrade Hulu?
Justice, you can just drop for now, and we can perhaps see you later. Don't worry. We have too many people that need to engage. So Ruvimbo, I made a mistake by misrepresenting you there to Bishop Maponga. Can you just quickly correct me so Bishop Maponga can understand your question? Ruvimbo has fallen. Okay. That's fine. Okay, but remember, I think she corrected me by saying that she said Rutendo would not say that without knowing the consequences. And Bishop Maponga, next time just ask you to mute your mic when I'm talking because there's an echo coming from your mic. Bishop Maponga. All right. So Bishop Maponga, thank you very much. Please respond to Ruvimbo and to Justice Mahoney. Justice Mahoney, please drop so that I can be able to bring up others. And so then I'll get to go to the next two speakers, and then we continue like that. Justice, thank you. Bishop Maponga, please respond.
The question on the constitution and the non-performing MPs, I put them in a different order. I think I'll attend to Rumbi at the end. Of non-performing MPs. Maybe these are the issues that when people are meeting for these consultative meetings, they need to highlight these issues. That if a term is extended, does it automatically mean that also that the MPs will be carried along with them? Or then we can say actually change horses or whatever, or recall the president in case he does not perform. What are the terms and conditions of that? I have not read through those things to apply my mind to the nitty-gritties of that constitution. I leave it to you, the educated people. What is it in the 5 years? In America, I know they do recalls, they do impeachments, they do other strategies. Do we also have that in our own system? And if it is so, then get it going. That's what you asked for. That's the democracy you must master. That's not for me to answer. That's for you to go back to your constitution and read it carefully with the same analysis that you have. When you want to toothpick around me, go and find out for yourself. What does your own constitution say? What are the peripherals of that function? How do you put them in? How do you extend them? How do you recall them? How do you impeach them? And how do you treat them when they misbehave? Number two, the getting paid by Tagwirei. I'm a philanthropist. I write books. I travel. I'm writing my own Bible. I make money from the international community, make money from my books. I have an estate that is in South Africa. I don't know people from Zimbabwe. Is it always obvious that when someone comes back from outside the country, they are poor and they're begging? I think on this particular note, I will allow Rutendo, just for purposes of cosmetics, without necessarily beating off my chest. If the first time I invited him to my space, did he find a poor man For crying out loud, young people, I started working in 1992. I have 6 or 7 cars parked in my garage. 1 point something million, 3 million something houses with pools and swimming and tennis courts and stuff like that. Do you want me to start disclosing my stuff? It has nothing to do with you. I have my grandfather's farm. I'm trying to dig some gold for myself. I've got a small little estate. I've gotten Beatrice where I'm trying to build a cultural village. For crying out loud, young people, it's not always that when you make money, you're being given money. Some of us have worked for our money and we're still making money from many other events. I'm leaving for Ghana in a few days, actually, for the awards. I'm going back to Burkina Faso. Back in Kenya, etc. Conferences that pay me 4, 5, 10,000 per speech in 30 minutes. I come here and I talk for 2 hours for a thank you and a 10% which I never received. We need to respect each other sometimes. We all did not grow up the same way. Others are struggling. Others have been able to master the system, do investments, and look after their own retirement. In fact, to be more frank, I'm on retirement. I stopped working as a pastor. I'm doing philanthropic work. Third question that I must attend to was the dictatorship issue. Amen. I've already answered that one. I don't know who brings it back again. We've already been there. Dictatorship, no dictatorship. There are 42 methods of governance in the world, from benevolent dictatorship to dictatorship itself, to democracy, to monarchy, to feudal systems. And you guys are all educated. Don't try to trap me in the midst of your own knowledge. Why are Africans trapped in a democratic system that has not worked for us for the past 70 years? From Kwame Nkrumah to South Africa, we are all complaining of this monster called democracy. Because democracy, as we are practicing it as Africans, it is neo-colonialism. It is when our liberation heroes went into office to assume the same machinery that had oppressed us. And we hope that things will change until you change that constitution to become indigenous, to recognize you as the owners of the land, the owners of the banks, the owners of the mines, the owners of the hospitals. You're going nowhere. Because right now you come up with a tablet, that tree you use for cleaning up teeth, to get that small little tree registered as a national toothpaste, which is planned in the country. It will take more than 5 to 6, 10 years because of the regulations which the white man has put into office, which are entrenched in your own constitutions, which make it difficult for indigenous people to access financial resources and access development. So we are always running behind, thinking that we can put ribbons on a donkey and it will become a horse. It doesn't work, guys. Number 3, 4, 5, the toxicity that I begin to hear from ourselves as the educated community on X here, Rutendo himself, Chingono himself, many other intellectuals that I tend to respect, even the Hulus, even some of these guys who are here, who are very, very eloquent in speech. The problem we have never gathered together, put our heads together. Maponga, how do you think? Rutendo, how do you think? How do you think? Here we are, like small little dogs, barking at the bottom of a table, chasing after crumbs, because we have not yet learned the power of uniting our muscle power towards the common good of making money, according to the words of our own president. Young people, start making money. If you are a chemist student, how do you convert all these bushes in Zimbabwe to make chemistry out of them? If you're an agriculturalist, if you're a geologist, how can we begin to access the resources which are readily available? For less than $1,000, you can buy yourself a title deed for mining their concession and start mining. Then do a business plan, go to the banks, sell cows, start somewhere. But here we are busy quarreling. So how much did you get? How much did I get of what? When I was poor, did you ask me how much did I lose? I've lived my life, man. I'm going 60 now. And some of you have hardly turned around the circle of 25, 32, 45 years if you are lucky. So we have worked, some of us, and don't insult our hard labor for donations. I don't live on donations. I've paid for my own school fees and I've earned what I eat. Lastly, the president of the country has already admitted to us that we must turn this economy and use it for our own benefit. Rutendo, I have nothing to say about him. He's here, he's a man. He can talk on behalf of himself and he can confirm whatever he wants to confirm. I don't have a receipt in my files of 10%. If he has it, he can produce it on the next show and show me where that money went to. I have nothing to say about that. I have nothing that I can confirm to those aspersions. The assassination issue, that's daylight dreaming. That's hallucination. I just survived an accident last week. I went to bury my uncle the other day. I'm in Masvingo, and I'm being told I attended a meeting that is in Harare. How does that happen? We must stop some of these fabrications for media popularity. You don't want to make yourself into a political martyr on such a lame excuse. People believe in you, Rutendo, and I respect what Rumbie said. People believe in you, and for what it is worth, it is not worth your while to eat people's trust with aspersions of this nature. Lastly, the only person who had a discussion that I can talk about whom I heard was being assassinated, and I was there when they discussed the assassination, the same weekend, was Jesus. And I saw another Nigerian guy being beaten the daylights when they tried to hang on the cross like Jesus. That's the only one that I heard who was being assassinated, and that one died. Rutendo is still alive. I have no clue, I have no information, and wherever that information is coming from, I hope and I pray that whoever raised these issues has got enough backbone, because they know the consequences that are following with it. And I will not be abused in such a way. And I humble myself to come on these platforms so that we can talk. My passion has nothing to do with what I'm discussing here. I would have loved to hear, how did our forefathers used to govern themselves? How did we used to heal ourselves? How did we used to? That's why I'm here with you, young people, to share with you some of those small little grains of ancient knowledge that are remaining amongst us. Perchance we can redeem ourselves from globalization. I thank you.
Right, thank you very much, Bishop Maponga. We are not wasting time. Let's move. Bishop Maponga, you can just mute your mic.
I don't want.
Okay, right. We are having Professor Shinga Feresu, and we have got Isaac McCormick, and then we will also go to Master Walks as well as research. Let's start with Professor Shinga Feresu and Isaac
Some of us were
McCormick.
here before, Hulu.
Oh
Ulu,
no,
can I
Professor.
make a follow-up, Ulu?
You're skipping first
Justice, you have to drop.
after
Justice,
Hulu
you
is
have to drop.
Marcy.
Marcy,
Because Hulu
Professor Ferres was here long time ago. It's only that I requested that she delays to come up to the podium. Sorry about that. Don't worry, Master Walks. You'll be coming up
But
shortly.
Ulu, that's an unfair discussion, Ulu.
No, Justice, I gave you an opportunity. You asked the
Yeah,
five
but I
questions,
have
and
a
all
follow-up.
of
I
them
have
have been
a quick
answered. There's so
follow-up in
many
30
other people,
seconds.
my man.
He hasn't answered, Ulu. He just shouted and shouted. He didn't
No,
answer anything.
Justice, no, Justice. Wait, Justice, wait. Okay, you are still there on the speaker, so be patient, Justice. Okay, let's go to Professor Shinga Feresu and Isaac McCormick. And Professor Feresu, go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much, Hulu, for this beautiful platform, bus driver, hot seat. Thank you. Bishop, how are you? We last spoke when I was on Facebook many years ago. Glad to hear you again. And I appreciate your presence here and trying to work with everybody, explaining what it is. I know you have a lot of experience and I admire you for that. And I'm grateful that you are here. Everybody in the audience, thank you. Jones is gone. I worked with him with sanctions and that group in America. And I would have liked to say hi to him
No,
as
Jones
well.
Masara is still here. Sorry, he's still
Oh,
here. He's going to come now to speak. Don't worry, Professor. Go ahead.
okay. Yeah, I was with him with the 21st whatever movement on sanctions. So I'm happy that he's here. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to Bishop. Bishop has got a lot of knowledge about many things. He sometimes even chides the president, he sometimes chides us. We never get angry when he does because we always think about what is he thinking about and what is he trying to say to us and how can we modify our behaviors to do the best for Zimbabwe. So for that, I really give him kudos. And everybody here is free to ask him. But what we do is we also become respectful of him because he's not a young person. And for that, I say thank you. I spoke with Rutendo yesterday, Bishop, and we talked a lot about sanctions. We came to many agreements and disagreements. I always enjoy when people respect each other, no matter how different you can be. And I also chided him not to talk rough to people, because people only learn when there is a pleasant environment for them to learn. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Lulu. I will be in the audience and I appreciate what you are doing. Have a wonderful one. I will
And thank
come
you
up
very much,
with the problem.
Professor. And
Yeah.
thank you for all those prayers that you were making for my family when I lost my mother. And you called me, and you were very much with us on that journey. Thank you very much, Professor Shinga Ferreso. I truly, truly appreciate you. My name is Sitole. All right, right. Let me go to Isaac McCormick, and from there we go to Master Walks and I said and research. Okay, Master Walks as well as research. Justice Mahoney, please hang on there. I know that you said your question was not properly answered, and we will deal with that. All right, Isaac McCormick from Mashingo, ZANU PF, and you wearing the VP's regalia there. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Right, ndoda ngushandisa my language, my mother's language. Ndoziva kuti tataura zvakawanda, tichinzwa zvakawanda from the Bishop Maponga, from everyone. But the only thing chatiri kunida now, zvaizvezvi, tiri kuda someone asinga benefit from these corrupt individuals. Tiri kuda a government inokoshesa. Tiri kuda a government inogara true independence. Kure pakugara zvakanaka, pakusununguka, pakutaura, pakuita sei. Ndichiadresa nyaya yekuisa picture yaVP Chiwenga. It's not like the way zvinotaurwa nayo nevamwe vanhu kuti I know Makomichi are against the president, wants VP Chiwenga to take over. No, the thing is totoda kuti idi apedze term yake 2028 topinza Chiwenga. Why ndichidaro? Tiri kuda munhu asinga benefit from zvigananda. We know kuti some of these guys, no matter kuti maunza vamwe vanhu vakapiwa mari mabeneficiaries akaita sei, vanenge vachitaura vachiti hey ninga akazodai, we know kuti it's all lies. They are thieves, they are corrupt individuals.
Right, Isaac, I want you to be quick, my friend, in terms of asking a direct question to Bishop Maponga, so we don't lose track. There's so many people waiting up there. I'm sorry, my friend, please ask a direct question.
All right, question yangu kuna Maponga ndeyekuti anoziva here kuti nyika ino yakaenderwa kuhondo ine maprinciples akafanana ne1 man 1 vote. Saka kana vanhu vakauya sana Tagwirei vakuzotaura vachiti we are the ones vakatanga kuti bill riitiwe, vachiviolate principle yekuzvitonga kuzere, because remember dei nyika ino isina independence zvatiri kuita zvingadai zvisiko. Saka ukaona someone akuuya achida kuchinja whatever chakanga chiriko kubva kudhara, ananga achitaura zvemaziteguru edu kuti vaita sei, ivo vakuru vedu zvavakarwa hondo naBishop Maponga vachirwira nyaya ye1 man 1 vote, vana VP Chiwenga vari kuhondoko. Then someone anongozoita kunge Samuel Mutsotse kana kuti Mwimbavha inenge ida kungosutawo zvayo zvainoda yobva yasvika ichichinja. Iye Maponga obva azvitsigira, anenge asisiri here against zvaataura kuti tinofanira yedu, because hatigoni kutaura nhoroondo yeZimbabwe. Saka my direct question ingori simple, kana iye achiti ngatikoshesei nhoroondo yemazeteguru edu nekwatakabva, iyo Zimbabwe takambobvepi? Hatina kubva here kuhondo yechimurenga? Ndo kwatakabva. Ko sei achizotsigira vanhu vanenge vachida kupikisa nekubvisa zvinova nhoroondo yedu? And my last thing, kune munhu wese ari kunzwa, shotire ipapo ndi VP Chiwenga 2028. Zvimwe zvese zvamunzwa zvikitaurwa nevanhu vanenge vakapiwa mari kupedzerwa nguva. Thank you very much.
All right, Isaac McCormick, you can drop now. Bishop Maponga, you can respond to Professor Ferresu as well as Isaac McCormick.
Tinotenda vakomishini shoko ramataura. Kana muti utaura nechikaranga moto ndidzosera mudare chaimo. Tichirereketa zvakanaka tichidudzirana kuti nhoroondo yedu haitangi nokubva kurusununguko. Nhoroondo yedu inotanga sure uko. tisati tatanga kutogwa namatunhu shokomurehwa avo ndokwazvimba avo ndokwagutu avo ndokwanhingi. Nyika yedu namadzishe ayo anga ane nyika dzayo, anga ane vanhu vavo, anga ane ninga dzavo vachiita zvikaranga zvavo vachizviraramira vari voga. Ndokuzouya nyaya iyi inobva yaresveka pakauya vasina mabvii. Isu totanga kuverenga kuti takaita one man one vote. Ndo pamakareswa varungu makavarova mukawina. Pamakaenda kuLancaster House makundonzi chinyorai chipepa chiya chamuri constitution chiya. Ndo mune nhema dzose dzinokutambudzai professor. Dzose nyamukaenda kuchikoro mukandoverenga mukadzoka professor. Tichatogara pasi, tichatokutsvakai timbogara pasi. Mundiudze kuti and we can go through that constitution. Tiverenge immediately. Tibvunze kuti munhu mutema uri papi muconstitution muno. Nokuti mabank, insurance, businesses anoramba chingova mumavoko avanhu vanga vakatidzvinyirira. Ava uya kuhondo iko zvino yava umvaro hwokubvarurirana zvakagadzirwa navarungu. Ndopanotanga problem ipapo. Dambudziko redu guru rikuti bumbiro remutemo harisi bumbiro redu mutemo ratakaisa pano. Ibumbiro reRoman Dutch law. Uko sure uko. Kana zvakatodero uchitotipai mapassport tose tinogara kuRoman nokuDutch. Nokuti mutemo utanga welaw unoti jurisdiction. Saka kana mushandisa mutemo weRoman Dutch law to discuss your issues as Zimbabwe, you are basing it on what? Because you are absent from that constitution. And I hate this academic illusion, mist that we have, that actually we can make a democracy work that we don't know. Makagumarini baba professor, kudana mhuri yenyu yose kuti ndauda kumitisa mai venyu titi mwana wechipiri kana mwana wechitatu. Hakuna democracy inorarama muhurumende yatisingazivi mudzimba dzedu. Hazvina chivanhu mukati izvi. Kungotungana kwembudzi uku. Kutevera huruva yana tembo uku. Kana mada zvechikaranga chako chako chitodzokerai sure. Musati matanga kutaura nyaya yeminda, chitaura minda yamunopana dhorobha rino nderani. Ndera municipality here kana ndera Mbari. Masvingo ndeyani. Mitero yamunobhadhara muneza kupi. Mwene wenzvimbo akagariswa mumahweseri uko achimira kupuwa chimota nokupuwa chimari nehurumende. Ari mwene wenzvimbo. Asi constitution yenyu nedemocracy yenyu inokutenderai kuramba makadzvinyirira vanhu vakatorerwa nyika. Saka munoigadzira sei yakadero? Munotora madhongi mesa mberi muti mwesa sure mwesa ngoro mberi zvinofamba sei? So that's why I'm saying I don't believe in this whole thing, and I don't know why people are so eager to drag me into a democratic conversation. My way of thinking is totally far away from that one man one vote. I don't believe in it, honorable professor. I'm sorry to say that. There are better, more consultative ways we can use as indigenous people to bring governance to our people. I thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Bishop Maponga. Let's move. Marcy Walks, as well as research. Marcy?
David Ulu, and thanks for the space. Maponga, it's nice to see you here. You sound refreshed and very raring to go. And I love the topic that you're touching on. But I get sort of discouraged in some of the sentiments you say. I will say I'll forgive in that sometimes there's not enough room for you to expand on the things you say. But there's a danger that in that reductive way in which, of course, you are limited by time, there can be a misunderstanding. So I want clarity. The bill amendment number 3 touches something that you should be a godfather and a custodian to lead in that discourse. It's attempt to politicize chiefs who contribute a percentage into our governance and our judicial system. Now, having a historic context, that the chiefs that we already have are a political construct of the British South Africa Company and inherited till this day by successive administrators. How is it that you do not see the danger in this bill amendment for the current Black government to be perpetuating the British South Africa Company model of saying the chiefs must act as native commissioners who are influenced by politics? Yet you are you conserve Tsikanema Gariro, and you should be protectionist of that sacred part of our judicial system. why is it that you are not taking that opportunity to speak of that bill being a danger, the continuation? Because one, you are admitting to us that you already have a problem with our constitution, our governance style, and our democratic system. Yet when that bill proposes to extend that arm of influence, which is dirty, which is politicized, which is Eurocentric, and all the other inheritance from Greek to Roman to, and yet you are allowing this bill in its attempt to make chiefs political. Why are you not saying the bill is wrong? Instead of it allowing this arm of politics, which is the dirty aspect that brings the any judicial review that the courts in the customary courts are making, if they become political, they create precedents into our judicial system. Why are you not taking that opportunity as a cultural protectionist?
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you
That's
very
a
much, Master Wilkes. Bishop Maponga, let us go to the second person, then you can respond to both of them.
Oh, okay.
All right, let us go to research. Research, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Wulu, for the excellent space. I have got 3 questions, just strictly. Number 1, it is environmental. Bishop Maponga said that people can use baobab trees to make clothes, but yet we know that baobab trees are non-renewable. Can we sustain 1 million people in Zimbabwe through baobab trees, or the baobab trees will become extinct? Because research has already shown that that is not a good way, because it can destroy these species that we need. So do you think those people who discovered it are wrong? Number 2, Bishop Maponga, the first ZANU-PF conference refused the 2030 agenda. And then the second ZANU-PF conference accepted that agenda. But later, we discovered that they added more components which were not discussed, like the inclusion of MPs, councillors, and the power of the chiefs. Is that democratic? Is that acceptable? That is why Marcy and other people are rejecting that it did not come from the ZANU-PF people. But that will lead to the next question, which Marcy talked about. You said that you don't agree with democracy. Therefore, are you not using a constitutional coup against democracy? Because our constitution states that we are a democratic country, but you are now refusing. So is it an admission that the constitution is correct, but you don't like it, so let's violate it? That is where we should go. Like what Marcy said, that you don't agree on democracy, but our constitution said, let's agree on democracy. And then, are you not performing a constitutional coup on democracy? Why can't you go through the referendum for you to do that constitutional coup? And finally, Rutendo talked about assassination. What if you are heard, you are going to hear that tomorrow Rutendo is dead? Are you going to hold that view that Rutendo was wrong in trying to protect himself? Because the issue of life is personal. But already you are trying to tell Rutendo that don't talk about any threats that are coming true. So if Rutendo were told that he's going to face some challenges next, will you still accept that Rutendo was wrong? So for Quartet, I don't ask about it because you said you don't believe in democracy. So that is why you hate Quartet, maybe. Thank you very much, Ul.
All right, thank you, Research. And well, before Bishop Maponga responds, Research, can I request you kindly to drop to the listeners? We have so many other people that we need to bring up. So everybody, as soon as you engage with Bishop Maponga, please drop yourself so that we can be able to bring others up. Thank you again for joining me, Hulu, at Pachiso Live. Thank you for joining Rudo Jobo, the Hot Seat Empire, my co-host there. And today we have also decided to add bus driver so that we can have this conversation being quite inclusive. Please, guys, remember that you must follow us if you want to hear more about these, and make sure also that we share this information with many others. Thank you for our partners at Pachiso Life Partners who are here on the space and who are distributing the information to the worldwide audience. Thank you, Bishop Maponga. Please go ahead.
The indigenous question, very, very interesting. And the accusations that are leveled at me are equally square, and I accept the challenge that I received there. The model that I've written, and I've thought through it very carefully, we are all complaining because the government seems to have no oversight. No one can instruct the president what to do. It looks like the model of democracy we're using places him at the helm of the government in terms of the republic arrangement. In our indigenous forms, which I have written on extensively, the president must report to the owners of the land. Therefore, the indigenous people, each one from their own area, from Bedbridge, Torashanga, Zarabani, Wange, all the owners of the land who are responsible for their citizens must come and sit in a circle and put the president at the center. Each one of them will tell the president what they need to do in their own country, what they need done in their own spaces. Therefore, the president stops being a president. Germany has done that. They have a chancellor. They don't have a president. Then we can actually have a CEO model, where the CEO comes to report to the board of directors. Who are the owners of the land? Who are holding the land for us as trustees? Who are the common people? So instead of building a pyramid, I would rather build a circle of democracy or build a circle of governance where the president must come and be answerable to the people rather than the people answering to the president. The baobab trees, my brother, I feel pain when I hear you say what you're saying. Conservation, telling us about green energy. Young man, get my number from Hulu. I will make a personal effort to take you to Chimanimani, to Mzarabani, where the harvesting of the baobab is happening. They don't kill the trees. Those are living clothes. They take a small little bark, and every 3 years they come to harvest it. They eat the fruits and the barks of the tree, they make their clothes. So we're not destroying the trees. And for your information, baobab trees are plantable. So we can actually populate and plant lots of baobab trees and create that into a factory and industry of textiles. ZANU-PF, I'm not informed about the processes of ZANU-PF. And the process itself, I was never part of it. As to what happened, where, who voted what to happen, I think I'll leave that to the political commissariat to answer as to the process. But you're dragging me into an institution which I've already rebutted that, please, if you're going to include me into the democratic space, I would want a full representation from our indigenous and organic governance systems. And why am I still speaking and I'm letting this democratic process go on? And am I not messing up and abusing the constitution? And I think you used a very interesting word there, that am I not becoming an enemy of democracy? Within democracy itself, there is something they call self-actualization. There is something they call self-determination, which means as an individual, I have a right to be, and I have a right to decide and choose what I want to and what I don't want to. Though the majority will work against me, the minority must still be protected by the rights of the majority, and the majority must also be protected by the rights of the minority. And I think I did this discussion once on the homosexuality issue in Johannesburg, where I argued that if 99% of the people say we don't want homosexuality, why is the outside world still telling us that we must entrench it in our constitution? Because then they put the responsibility of the majority to protect the minority, and the minority must not abuse the majority. That's a conversation that democracy is not willing to confess right now. Lastly, the assassination of Benson Matinyarare, and I think, my brother, you're being very cruel, because without saying too much, you're saying if Rutendo should die, if Rutendo should be assassinated, then I'm included in that list. But if you were here earlier on, I dismissed those allegations, and I refuted them with the strongest terms ever. I was not in Harare. I don't know that meeting. And the confidences that Matinyarare has on his assassination, he must go and smoke those confidences of his and his informants, wherever they came from. I have no clue, I have no knowledge, I have no interest, no vested interest whatsoever in Benson Matinyarare's life. He's an individual, he has a right to life and to do what he wants to do with his life and make his own decisions. And those decisions are not subject to me or hindrance to me. All I can say is that Those accusations are not founded. They are simply aspersions. If a man who is trying to play into the gallery and play the messianic role, that is a political martyr, which is not true. And him juxtaposing himself to someone else who has passed away, I call that great disrespect of the highest order. Because I don't remember, I don't know, I have not been involved in any one of those conversations. And if you want to fight with the bigger people, please identify them and leave me alone. Leave me alone. If you want to have a conversation with me, come with me to the caves. That's what I'm more comfortable with. And I don't know why you drag me away from my life that I'm enjoying, which is stressful. Put me into this pot of chaos, of people who think that they know everything about very little. A nation that has forgotten itself. And yet they pretend like they understand everything else. Stop, African child. Stop and think.
Yeah.
If democracy was a good thing, my closing remarks, Olu, if democracy was a good thing, and the white men knew that's exactly what we needed, then why did we fight for it? Ask yourself that question. If it was the best form of governance, then why did they make us fight for it? We have taught white people democracy. They can't teach us democracy. Only now white people in this country are able to live freely. We could not live freely when they were here. So it's all these illusions of this shadow boxing, of thinking that we got it right. If we do 1, 2, 3, 4, we can survive. Kagame, good example. Museveni, not so good. You look at Libya, Gaddafi, good example. Maybe not so good. Jinping, good example. Maybe not so good. Russia, good example, not so good. And only a few days ago, we've learned now the new definitions of democracy. Donald Trump, showing you the true face of democracy. Democracy is only when those that have money and have access to resources and means of bulldozing other nations can have their way from Venezuela to Ukraine, to Libya, to Iran, to Vietnam, to Japan, and they become the bulldogs of the world. How long, African child, are you going to become dogs that are fighting over bones when the masters are eating flesh? And when I talk like that, someone says I'm shouting. I'm not shouting. I hope it can reach you so they can wake up from slumber. I thank you.
Thank you, Bishop Joshua Maponga. You can mute your mic a bit, Bishop. The echo again. Okay, thank you very much. And for those that continue to follow us, thank you very much. We'll continue to give you important information happening in Zimbabwe and right in the world. We will be bringing you yet another big space. So please follow me, follow Rojobo, and you are going to find out. Rojobo is the hot seat empire. You are going to find out very important information. Grace Mfuruta, for those who might have known, Grace Mfuruta is here also. She is on the speaker's podium. We are going to be giving Grace Mfuruta an opportunity to engage with Zimbabweans. Miss Grace Mfuruta is also here. Those who are requesting, I see you guys. We are going to be bringing you up shortly. Right. So, Miss Grace Mfuruta, welcome to the space. We are going to have you now together with Macbeth Masuku. With Jones Musara. Then Flora Ramai and Macbeth Masuku will come next. And the rest of you guys, I will still be bringing you up. Those who are requesting, I see you. So Miss Gresham Puruta, for those who might be wondering, why did I say Miss Gresham Puruta is in the house today? Tell them who you are. And then go ahead and briefly address, Bishop Maponga.
Thank you very much, Hulu, for giving me the platform, co-host, and everybody else who is on the platform. I want to honor and respect Maponga. So, Kobvudzi J Nakunjan. I also want to honor and greet Moyo Vumavaranda, the Rutendo, Benson, Matara, Matinyarare. I'm very glad to see him on the platform. I'm Tete Rasta, and I champion African knowledge systems, culture, and tradition. That's an alter ego. I've been at it for years. That's where I interfaced with both Rutendo and Maponga. And we are friends, and we fall out and we make up and we disagree and we agree and so on and so forth. So where we come together as the three of us is on what is good for Zimbabwe. I wasn't really interested in speaking today, but I thought I want to come in. Ramaponga, what is going on today is really bad. Rutendo, what's going on today is very bad. It's sad and it's bad, and I don't know what it's going to take to fix it. But you have been working in your different capacities, like many other people, to champion things that Zimbabwe needs. You have elevated yourself to levels and heights that not only have you raised your standard, but you have brought the country with you and the disenfranchised. Rutendo, I remember some years ago, I called you a wasted night and we had a powwow about that. And today I was thinking, this is what I was talking about before, but that is wrong. That is so wrong, Rutendo. I was emotional. You have a tendency to say things that trigger people. I don't want you to die. I saw the work you did with the sanctions. I supported that movement. I even bought 2 T-shirts when I was in the UK supporting that movement. Yes, it's partial lifting of the sanctions, but you did with your team something that was unthinkable. And what you do have, Vamaponga, listen, this young man and yourself have a synergy of skills. He's able to think in a way when he's very focused, outside the box, that he's fearless to challenge institutions and neo-colonial mechanisms that have been doing Africa and Africans in Zimbabwe in particular out of our potential. So I want to say this to Rasoko. I have one question and one question alone. When I woke up this morning, I saw your posts. I had done a post yesterday about the noise that you guys are creating on social media because people follow you. Instead of us looking at the amendment bill, we are now chasing Rutendo and Joshua. It's wrong. In the spiritual realm, we look at anasoko na ana moyo. Hapana chinorarama chisina moyo. Soko, you're the one who swings over the trees and sees and strategizes and comes back with intelligence. So now you're falling out. Who's going to do the work that you are doing? So my question, Ramaponga, when Rutendo is on, I shall ask him his own question is, Imimati pani $4 million, $4 million US dollars. When you're hungry, you sell out. Is this speculation or you've got facts that Rutendo is hungry and that he's owed 4 million? Because I think Patanga, this whole debacle, that was the sting. Yes. And within your posts, the one you posted this morning just after 6, you were showing love towards Rutendo, but you are also defining a boundary for yourself, which you have a right to. 2 things can be right at the same time. Even 3 things can be right at the same time. So I want to know about the 4 million because that's going to help us as Zimbabweans to know whether to keep following this or not to follow this. And also, perhaps the other broader question to people, which is a rhetorical question, is what kind of work does anyone do in Zimbabwe that is worth 4 million? I know nurses get 280, maybe 350 at best. So is there money for certain cohorts of people? Is it for the whole organization? Or I want to know about the money. I follow the money and then I look at motive. But I hope that as Zimbabweans, we can thank you because your fallout has helped us to find ourselves and to find a platform through Hulu to talk about you two, to talk about the broader things, and to have speakers from ZANU-PF and the opposition and people that are in the middle like me. I'm Zimbabwe. I support the government that is there. I don't have strong feelings. I used to be in human rights activism. Takatambiswa nhova nevarungu. The UN existed. Yeah, from 1945 or thereabouts, they had human rights, but they are human rights for white people, not for black people. Tete Rasta champions African knowledge systems, culture and tradition. Ndini ndakadena dare with the British Natural History Museum to say, pane madzitateguru edu akaurawa akagurwa musoro after Chimrenga 1. Misoro yavo iri kupi?
All right, Grace, make it short now. 30
No,
seconds.
I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Grace Mpuruta. Zulu Scotty, if you are here, please help me to post up there on the Jumbotron. Rutendo obviously posted, a picture of a deposit, but that deposit number has been erased on that picture that he has sent up there. Perhaps that's the 10% that he was talking about, and people are asking me to say, please make sure that Bishop Joshua Maponga responds to that evidence that Rutendo has posted. Well, we are going to have that, but. Okay, thank you, Gresham Furusa. Let me just go to. I said Gresham Furusa is coming with who again? With Jones Musara from ZANU PF. So, Jones Musara, please go ahead and ask a question to Bishop Maponga, and then we are going to give him an opportunity to respond to both of you. While Scotty Zulu is helping me, because Hot Seat Empire and myself, we cannot actually manage to put, pictures up there onto the Jumbotron. I don't know why. I don't know what is happening here. I don't know. Okay. All right, Jones, welcome to the space. Go ahead.
Thank you, the host, once again. My question to Changamire Maponga is that, don't you think that Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 aligns with our heritage and ancient traditions, in the sense that in times past, leaders of society and communities would be succeeded only upon death? There were no term limits. If you go back to pre-colonial society, there were leaders, but leaders would be succeeded upon death or maybe some kind of incapacitation. So don't you think that Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3, by pushing for term extension, is drawing us closer to our heritage and our ancient traditions? Also, in light of Education 5.0, where we learn that we must mine the leverage and richness that exists within our own traditions and heritages. That's question number 1. Number 2, I don't know if I'm allowed to also make a comment based on what has been unfolding on the platform. Am I allowed to comment, or I'm restricted to simply asking a question to Changamire Maponga?
Hulu, are you
Well,
Sorry, Jones.
yeah.
I'm multitasking. There's something that I'm doing in the background. Jones, please go ahead quickly, please. Make it short. I'm not multitasking. There's something that I'm doing in the background. I can hear you. And
Okay.
say it quickly.
Thank you very much. Yes, obviously, I'm very much seized with the pressing issues of national interest, which at the moment I believe are Bill number 3, and of course the economy. I'm glad that our leadership, our president and his team are seized with issues of national interest. Of course, there'll be side shows. In every democratic dispensation, there'll be side shows, and citizens are free to engage in side shows. Just to comment on some potentially misleading narratives. For example, the issue of succession that was raised by some of the speakers. I've been a successionist myself. During the era of President Mugabe, I was a successionist. I was one of the very few people to publicly endorse President Idi Mnangagwa to be president after President Mugabe. But I want to caution some of my comrades to say the context is radically different to sustain and justify successionist politics and narratives at the moment. Number 1, we have the party which has made a resolution. Resolution number 1 strictly speaks against succession talk because it's talking about extension. So I don't think it is prudent for cadres to be engaging in successionist talk at the moment. When the time comes, if your candidate is qualified, I'm pretty sure we can have a conversation which involves all of us, which I think is one of the very good things about Bill number 3. Because if you look at the current constitution, succession had been given to the ruling party to say if a vacancy arises, the ruling party chooses the president. But Bill number 3 is saying, no, let's have this be an inclusive process involving all representatives of the people in parliament to choose the president, instead of leaving that onerous responsibility to one party. So that's just a comment on succession to say, I think the timing is premature. Then, second issue, side issue, maybe some of the people missed the memo. Someone made a comment about Marakashi, but I think that's a side show. Safe to say, those of us who had been purportedly dismissed, we appealed to the president and he nullified purported dismissals. So we are firmly in charge of Marakashi for ED. We are Marakashi for ED, not for anybody else at the moment. Marakashi for ED. So we appeal to the highest office, which is the president, and he reversed whatever had been purported to be done. Lastly, Bill number 3 has been polluted by some very, very dishonest oppositional narratives that have hyped emotions and clouded people's thinking. We need to have a critical analysis of the bill as an educated country. If we're educated indeed, we must have a critical analysis to say, okay, clause by clause, what is it saying? So, for example,
All right, John, 30 seconds, John. So I'm done with
in conclusion, number 1, let me speak about the good things about the bill. Number 1, it corrects the abnormality in the 2013 constitution whereby he or she who appoints the president cannot disappoint the president. Wow, the people elect the president, but the people have no mechanism to remove the president. Now, Bill number 3 comes in to say, Parliament elects the president, Parliament elected by the people, and that Parliament has the authority to remove the president. Number 2, we have had so much violence pertaining to presidential elections. Parliament, skirmishes may okay, but not violence in the sense of arson, killings, and all that. So that bill helps that to correct that toxicity. So many disruptions
All
that
right.
come with elections. So I wish you could focus more on what is good about the bill, what is bad about the bill.
All right.
Not the side
All
shows.
right, John. Obviously, others are going to argue that because you are ZANU-PF, what else can you say? And so we will have some other, conversation again with regards to that. John Musara speaking to us here on this show. John, you can just go to the listeners for now, so I can just bring others. But thank you for that. I think, Bishop Maponga has taken note of that. So here we are, Bishop Maponga. Grace Mfuruta was speaking, and John Musara also spoke now, and Rutendo has posted, that invoice of a deposit, which is written the farmers of thought onto the FNB, and people are asking us to engage you on that. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Grace, for gracing us with your presence, and I think you touch very sensitive chords there of a better way in which we can find of working with each other and not allow such conflicts to become the order of the day, and we have derailed the critical conversation from the bill to ourselves. I think that must be selfish, and for that, I think I accept your rebuke, and we'll try and make things well. Rutendo is being very notorious, and I know why he's doing that. When we called him when we facilitated, now we can share some notes. When we facilitated his coming here, which he knows very well, the payments delayed. I used some of my own cash for his upkeep and keeping in here, because I had not submitted an invoice for the entire work that we're going to be doing, only to be repaid when the invoice had come through, because it was all inclusive. So if you want to throw the invoice, that's incorrect, Rutendo. Can you bring the entire invoice and people can know, so that you don't only blackmail me? Show us the deposit slip from the principal, and then show that, and I can justify your hotels at Mikkel's Hotel, 5-star, a rented car, fully with a sunroof, a house in Borodale, and the list can go on to justify that invoice, because I had not billed directly. The bill was inclusive to what we're going to be doing together. So if you want to throw the curtains and the napkins out, I'm all out. Can we have the next invoice, please, of how much was paid? And make them two, please. The initial payment, which was 7.5, and the next in payment, which was 1.3 or 1.4 million. Then put the two together, and then let's have a nice conversation, and everyone can know there's nothing to hide since we're already here. I thank you. And the last one on the conversation of the bill, and I think we are discussing these critical issues when the forums were open and submissions are done. It's unfortunate that many of us who have very good ideas, we are only good at ideas when we are shooting other people's ideas down. When platforms are created, where these conversations must be happening, submissions must be done in parliament and etc. Many of these big brains are nowhere to be found. They are only found on Twitter. They're only found on Facebook. When we begin to talk and say, I don't believe in this, I don't believe in this, and people get so upset because they keep their own ideas private and personal. And it's a shame of the highest order that many times people actually run around these social media spaces with fake accounts. And you can never know what they stand for and what they believe in. And I think that the door has been opened for the debating of this. But unfortunately, very few people submitted. And if we can gather ourselves into organizations, the lobbying groups, like they do in America, for example, and we can lobby a certain bill and submit our submissions in parliament and it's registered, it will be debated at a higher level. So I've not participated in that space and I don't want to temper much into that. But I think we are forfeiting a good opportunity when we don't engage our governments and we begin to talk from outside of the government as to what was happening. But letter of clarity from Mr. Matinyarare, please proceed and share with us the two invoices back to back. And I will talk to Chando also to give us his own affidavit on the discrepancies with the usage of the money for the purpose of which it was intended. But I'll leave that for now. But I don't want to go there, Rutendo. But if you want to go there, let's go. I'm ready. I'll get the other invoices on my own side also and show you. But please, Rutendo, be kind. I covered for your expenses while you were waiting for payment. And after payment, then you had to honor that. Unless you wanted me to pay for you and you didn't want to pay me. Thank you.
All right. So
Zimbabwe muri kuzviona osei Ocha remain Yours truly Mr. One blow Foolish government Yeah me raspi Urumende yemageva Akatumira mbava Urumende yemageva Tiri kutongwa netoti Yemesonuri geva Takatumira mbava Geva Matoti Urumende yembava Tiri kutongwa negeva mbava Toti Takatumira From bad to worse Tishiva kuna baba bona Unogona wona hapa na chata gona Zwakango my life iri kuona Oritanditi munoti kutongwa kwaro But say kuchishga vekumba kwaro Youths unemployed but inao magwaro Zimbabwe yese haina mufaro Say muchidaru kuita makaro There is too much kakistocracy Where is our democracy Chibataru okoro wangu mwana weva Inindi chabarako Let's rise, let's be wise And expose this Zimbabwe Aparara vedue Saga chibataru okoro wangu mwana weva Urumende yemageva Takatumira mbava Urumende yemageva Tiri kutongwa netoti Yambesonuri geva Takatumira mbava Geva Matoti Urumende yemambava Tiri kutongwa negeva mbava Toti Takatumira